on the discussion about Leah Thomas, when I mentioned that I have nothing against anyone's lifestyle. It's not for me to judge. But the point, what I said is that I do want to draw a line when it comes to competitive fairness. And Rich Boone said, me too, smoking. I would go out on a limb and say most people are against it, but a lot of people are scared to speak out on it.
Bingo, you just nailed it. That's absolutely what it is.
Well, look, that social media army is really, I mean, look at Dave Chappelle's been dealing with because of his stand-up special for months now, because his joke was, you can kill anybody you want, but don't hurt a gay person's feelings, was his joke. Was like, look, that's what we're just trying to talk about here. Yeah, so he went through all that, and that's the issue here. We're not dealing in, we're dealing in feelings, not in reality.
Yes.
And we've got to deal in reality when it comes to this. And it's while I know considering somebody's mental health, but come on, let's all get together and work on this, because
what about the girls' mental health? What about those other swimmers? What about them?
And the problem now is all of a sudden, Caitlyn Jenner's on the cover of a magazine, and we're all supposed to understand everything, and we can't ask questions. Don't ask a question. Don't ask this. You're supposed to just understand and go. Well, no, there's a lot of people who most of us didn't grow up with this. So while we can be accepting and loving and understanding to people, doesn't mean that everything has to be just in a box. There's so many other things that have to go around. So yeah, I think it's silly to just say this. And now look, on the other side of this, if Leah Thomas is a minority, a one or two off thing, then maybe we don't need to panic about it and get upset, because, again, this is a lot to go through just to win at swimming. But if that's what was the case at all, and I'm not saying that's what she did, but it is. But again, it doesn't
matter if she went to become who she is or what he was to who she is now, whether it was for swimming or not. That's not even my point. Is what is competitive balance?
Yes, it's not about the personal side. It's about the competition. Do you know who one of the most outspoken people against Leah Thomas's success is? Caitlyn freaking Jenner. Yeah. Caitlyn Jenner is. Why? Because she knows it's not fair. She knows it's not fair, and she's against this competitive imbalance. What does that tell you?
What if in 1980, Caitlyn Jenner had done this right before the Olympics and then swapped? Bruce Jenner won the decathlon, was the world's greatest athlete. How many different events could she have dominated then? I mean, just think of it that way.
Yeah, I think it's silly that everybody is scared, but that's the world that we live in now. But that's absolutely what it is you're worried about getting yelled at about, whatever your opinion is on, 5 random strangers on Twitter who could care less what your opinion is. They just want to paint you a certain way as soon as they can. I look at the picture from the podium, and that just says a lot to me. That speaks volumes to me about why this is not balanced, and it is not fair. And I don't know. I mean, is there a way to create a transgender division in college sports? So, I would be fine with that.
But again, here's the thing. Are there enough people who would do that to where it would be competitive? Because I think that's the other thing that we're seeing here is look, this is a very, very small piece of the population. And so to create something else for them, then they maybe get mad because they're that separate and all this, but there's not enough. So that's why they're trying to get in.
They get mad? Okay.
But so then you're kind of back to square one. That's my point. But are you creating something that there can even be enough people to have a competitive, could you have a transgendered swimming competition where you have 4 people in it?
If I don't know this, and I hope this is not taken wrong. I'm so freaking tired of having this, maybe say that before I want to say what I want to say. I have an opinion too. If Leah Thomas had been told that he or she would not be able to compete as a swimmer in the NCAAs, as a transgender, my question is, what decision would she have made? And if the answer would have been, you can do whatever you want, and that is the right of a human being, but you're not going to be able to compete in the NCAA, make that person have to be the one that fights through it. Not the ones who are doing what they've been doing because they're competing, because they're women, not against somebody who used to be and still has possibility of being a man. From John Joe, NCAA abdicated its role like it always does, punted to the United States governing body instead of saying, hey, this is our rule. You can compete, but it has to be like this, period.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I can tell based on social media, the wide majority of people are not in agreement with this. They're absolutely, based on just what little I've gone through. And this is not something I sit here and give a lot of thought to, or really even probably like the way I'm reacting to it now is far stronger than I actually really even sit here and feel about it. But I don't think it's right. I'm not for somebody not being able to live out dreams and be able to compete in sports that they want to compete in, but at the for the sake of others that are, competing, we just brush them to the side. Like what girl didn't win a national championship because she had to go against Leah Thomas, right?
Okay.
Screw her.
You know who?
Screw her.
You know one of the people in sports history people are maddest at is Danny Almonte. Who's Danny Almonte? He was a little leaguer who was 16 years old playing with 13-year-old kids.
I remember that,
okay?
yeah.
Why can't Danny Almonte play with 13-year-old kids? Because he's 16. He's bigger. He's stronger. He's faster. That's why Little League is not just whenever you feel like quitting. It's when you age out. When it's different. It's okay to be different and sometimes not to have it's over. That's it. That's it. It's over.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it's one of those things, like you said, where people want to talk about it. People want to say what they want to say about it. And they're afraid to, because their message is going to get taken right from the outset and painted to be a certain way, to where you are anti-trans or you're anti-gay or you're anti-this, when all your point is you just don't think that Leah Thomas should be competing against
why can't I
naturally
just
born
say
women.
that? Yeah, why can't?
And that's
someone,
really all it is.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's not. I don't want Leah Thomas to go to jail or be sent to the gulag or anything like that. Want you to have freedoms and be able to do a lot of what you want to. I just don't think that you should be competing and winning national championships against girls. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair to them. But again, we don't care about them. We just want to make a statement on trans. So let's prop up Leah Thomas and make this out like it's the greatest thing in the world, when a large majority of people do not think that way.
All of us have, no matter who we are and how privileged we are, there are certain things that we're not allowed to do in life. Minor things that other people are. And this is probably your thing, transgendered folks, is that when you make this choice, your competitive sports are over. Okay? Now, some of it's worse for people than others, but bottom line is it's a sacrifice you should have to make.
From another text line.
You know who else came out against Leah Thomas? Martina Navratilova.
Oh, Billie Jean King's against it.
Billie Jean King.
Yeah.
Martina Navratilova. Caitlyn Jenner. I mean,
from John Joe, not a good rule to allow Thomas to compete against biological females. Can't believe Title IX stalwarts aren't jumping on this yet.
Well, I think they are. I think the problem is that the voice from the very vocal minority of people who are angry about Leah Thomas being denied whatever opportunity she would have been denied had she not been allowed to is so much louder and scarier to the powers that be that they just back off.
Yeah, I use this example a lot, and I forget where I first heard it, but, people cave to social media pressure, and one thing to always keep in mind, if you got 500 tweets that are yelling at you, is it 100 people sending you 5 tweets, or is it 5 people sending you 100 tweets?
Yeah.
And that's what it feels like. It feels like we're caving to 5 people sending 100 tweets each and pretending it like it's 5,000 people all saying this, when really it's
and
not.
And by the way, who gives a damn about somebody tweets you or not, right? We allow that to be the government.
Yeah.
From Bob, with you, Craig. From Marshall, if this to all women's sports, then women's sports will become completely irrelevant, and that's a shame. And if this spreads, I meant to say what I said. That's from Marshall on the chat room.
Yeah, and don't let anybody who tells you that you don't agree with Leah Thomas being able to compete against women tell you that you're anti-trans or anti-gay or anti-anything. No, you're just anti-Leah Thomas competing unfairly against other women. That's what you are.
Yeah.